Hi, very good morning. My name is Alex. Today, I would like to share with you the AutoCount E-Invoice features. So let me get started with the debtor maintenance. Right-click on the debtor maintenance, click New, key in the customer's information. Key in the billing address. Okay, you can get the TIN number from our AIP server as well for the TIN information. So click on the Get TIN from AIP server. So from here, it will automatically copy and paste the company name and put into the search bar. And we can click the search button to search if the customer information has been saved in our AIP server. So once we click search for the customer information, ActiveWise Multimedia Syndrome Berhad has been searched, and if we want to add this tax entity into our AutoCount, we can click on the add button. So once I click this add to the tax entity, this customer information had been saved into my AutoCount. And now you can see the customer information has already saved in our TIN tax entity. Click Save. So this has been saved. So upon we save the customer information, the next things we can do is we can create our product. So right click on the stock item maintenance, click the new button. So the new stock item screen has been prompted, and now we can key in the item that we want. So for example, I will create an item as the service. Okay, example is computer service. So this is by UOM is by time, one time how much. So for instantly, I will put 150. Okay, as well as we can key in the classification code here. So you can choose the classification code from this list. So I will put this as others. So 150 ringgit. In others here as well, you can key in the unit of measurement. So you can search from here. So if you don't get any that you want from here, you can just simply choose those relevant to this item as close as possible. So I will just put each. So finally, I click Save for this item. So now computer service has been created. So if I want to create more items, I can just continuously click the new button to save more new items. So now, in order for me to generate an invoice, I have to click on the invoice, click new, search the customer information, for example, ActiveWise Multimedia Syndrome Berhad. Right click here, click add, and choose the item that I want. So for example, the item that I want is service, computer service. 150 ringgit one time. So if 2 times is 300, and the classification code has been automatically come out. So for some industry, Maybe they do not have any fixed item and they wish to key in the item without the item code. So when you insert a new row here, you do not need to key in the stock item code. Instead, I will just key in as the description that I want. For example, transportation. One time and 100 ringgit. So they will ask me to enter the cost for this transportation fee. So my estimate cost, my estimate cost is 60 ringgit. So I click OK, and they ask me to insert the classification code. Is there any transport? No. So I will just put others. So for the times here, I wish to key in for one-time transportation fee. Instantly, I can right-click here. I click column chooser, and I will choose the user UOM here. Then I can just key in whatever that I want, times. So the difference between this is the fixed UOM that we key in the stock item maintenance, and whereby the user UOM is the one that will display in our invoices. So one times 100 ringgit. So the first item is computer service 150, 2 times service. So we can click on save and preview if we wish to save this invoice. So before I save this invoice, I just want to show you this invoice can be consolidated within the grace period, or I can just submit it as the e-invoice. If I want to submit it as the e-invoice, then I have to untick the consolidate so that this will be instantly submitted to the My Invoice portal. So I click save and preview. Okay, so this is the invoice. The barcode, the QR code will be generated automatically within 10 seconds. So now we have to go out again. So come back to this screen and you will see that this is pending. Right click here, I click refresh. Okay, I'll click refresh here. So now this invoice has been validated. So now we click preview again. Invoice, I click OK. Now this invoice has been validated and you see there is a QR here. And if you wish to scan it, you can just scan it from here. So, or I can just click on this QR code in order for me to link to My Invoice portal to check whether if this invoice has been validated. Okay, so the supplier name, okay, the buyer name, okay, the time. So now I close this. I close this again. So this has been validated. So we look at this My Invoice portal. So we click on document, today's date, and you will see this is the new invoice that we created a moment ago. So when I click here, you will see the supplier name and the buyer name. What kind of product that we are selling to this customer. So we look at the full view, you can see the classification here is 022, computer service 2 unit each. This is the UOM that we key in the stock item. Next, I would like to share with you how to create consolidated e-invoice by using AutoCount. So you are allowed to generate the consolidated e-invoice during the grace period. So come to invoice, create a new invoice, select the customer name, select the item that you are going to sell. So I will select computer service and Acer laptop 40-inch. Then I click approve and preview. So they inform me I do not have enough of stock. I will just proceed. So this is a consolidated e-invoice. So let me check. Double click to edit the invoice. Click the edit button and make sure that this consolidated e-invoice is ticked. So this is the invoice number I0035. So I will instantly copy a new invoice because consolidated e-invoice supposed to be many invoice in one consolidated e-invoice. So for example, I will just duplicate another invoice. So the invoice number will become I00036. So I will just save this invoice without preview. Just click on the approve button. Yes, to save. Okay, I will generate one more. So in the consolidated e-invoice, later on we will see invoice 00035 to invoice 00037. So I will save the third invoice. 1, 2, 3. So when I do the consolidated e-invoice, I come to e-invoice, consolidated e-invoice. I click new. So they ask me from what date to what date. And the consolidated e-invoice that I want to generate is just for the invoice. So I click generate. So total amount for that 3 invoices is 6,450 ringgit. I will click save. So the status is pending. I can view it, and you see the description here is written invoice 00035 until invoice 0037. So this is the consolidated e-invoice. So now I click refresh button, and this has been validated. And I will click preview button, and I will click this consolidated e-invoice report and click OK to look at the consolidated e-invoice layout. And this is the consolidated e-invoice layout. So there's a QR here as well. So we can click on this QR to have a look. And it's written here, this is consolidated e-invoice number 7. So who is the supplier? And this is the general public buyer. So if we back to the My Invoice portal, we click new document, document. And then you see CI0007. This is a consolidated e-invoice. So let's click and see. And you see, this is the validated consolidated e-invoice. So if we look at this, it's written here, consolidated e-invoice, and the number 35 to 37. Okay, for the very last topic I want to share with you is the self-bill e-invoice. So come to the cash flow entry first, create a new payment voucher, pay to, let's say if I want to do a self-bill e-invoice for my rental. Okay, the pay to is the landlord the person who ran the office to me, let's say, is called Nguyen Kun. And then this is my office rental. Then select the payment method is public bank. Here, credit bank, debit my office expenses, office rental expenses. So the amount is 3,888 ringgit. So this is the payment voucher. So you see the TIN number has been selected. Okay, you can also choose it from here, or you can just simply type in by yourself. This drop-down button is to search the TIN number. Then I click Save and Preview. So I will choose payment voucher half page. So this is the payment voucher, pay to the person. This is the check number. So the amount paid is 3,888. Now we go out here to the main screen, click E-Invoice, click the self-bill. Or you can also come to the cash flow entry. You find the transaction that we key in just now, right click here, you can copy to a new self-bill. So as you can see here, this self-bill e-invoice also can be consolidated. Okay, as well as you can also copy the self-bill e-invoice from cash flow entry, purchase invoice, or AR credit note. So I would like to just click on approve and preview. Full text self-bill, click OK. So this is the self-bill e-invoice. Okay, let's go back to the self-bill e-invoice module. Click here, e-invoice, self-bill. So you will see this is the new entry that we just keyed in just now. So you can see that the UID has been generated as well. So we can click preview and look at the full text bill, full text self-bill again. And the QR code now has been generated. So click on the QR code and you will see this is the self-bill e-invoice, the supplier, the amount, the buyer. Then now we back to the My Invoice portal. We click on the documents. Then you will see there's a self-bill here. Click the self-bill. And this is the self-bill e-invoice has been submitted.